Hey guys, SIG here. So I wanted to hear at the very start of this project of mine, do a video for you guys. It's basically about who I am and what it is I'm trying to do here. So I have a bunch of lessons made up and ideas about things that I want to do for you guys, coming from all sorts of my various backgrounds of my education that and the hobbies that I have. Basically, I want everything that I do to teach people in some way. And I also, in my free time, spend a lot of time actually tutoring people and helping them with classwork and sorts of things. And so I thought to myself at some point, I should actually start like videotaping myself doing lessons about these topics that I'm doing with these students and just put them online and see if they can help anyone else out there and just like start to build a network of these people and maybe actually do this full time for people. I think would be an amazing thing. So, without any further ado, I'll get into it. I've made a little presentation here for you guys. The very first thing that I have, obviously, is my background. Like, what do I know, and like, what have I done, and why do I feel any sort of qualification to teach anyone anything? So, I have a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering, and I specialized in, which basically means I minored in, biomedical engineering. What does that mean? It means I've taken a lot of science classes, multiple levels of chemistry, biology, microbiology, anatomy, medicine, laboratories with all of these. I've done a lot of math, up to high calculus and differential equations. I've done physics, which is science and math, and being that I was in an engineering major, I had to take multiple courses that all aim to instill critical thinking and analysis and problem solving. And obviously a lot more other courses along the way of just various things I've taken. So at one point in my career, I lived and worked at a university in Japan as a research technician. And while I was there, I made some friends and met one in particular that I wound up helping open an English school with. This is Harukaze Sensei, which I'll talk about all the time and like will be involved in this project with me. I helped her open up an English school and we still coordinate from time to time. So besides her school, I actually also at a children's school taught English to kids for like a year. Maybe it was a little less than a year that I was there. But all in all, like, I spent a lot of my time in Japan not intending to, but actually teaching a lot of English. So I have ESL teaching experience. I taught everyone from, like I said, I taught kids and all the way up to like elderly adults. I've taught everyone in between. So I have a lot of experience teaching pretty much any age group and a lot of different learning styles. I myself have been a student of the Japanese language for like 7 years now. I was really good at it while I was living in the country. I'm not as good at it now as I was there because I haven't had as much opportunity to be engrossed in it and use it since being back in the United States. But this is a thing that I am also like working on for myself. I'm going to make videos teaching Japanese as a way of ingraining myself with the language and using it on a regular basis again. And I have tutoring experience from where I tutored Japanese 101 at the university that I attended. The last thing I have is I spent a semester substitute teaching, mostly middle school and high school, but I have tutored literally every single class that exists in middle school or high school. That includes health, art. Well, I take it back. I've never tutored driver's ed. That's probably the only thing that I've never taught in my substitute teaching experience. So the next thing I'll get into is my teaching philosophy and goals. So my number one belief in what I do and what I try to do with my students is that understanding a problem, truly understanding it, is so much more important than me just telling you the right answer on a practice test. There's an old parable, and the English version of it is, if you give a man to fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And that's absolutely what I'm going for. Like, it doesn't matter if I teach you the answer to one problem if you can't apply that to a totally different problem when you come across it in an exam. You need to understand how to take the test and how to approach problems and think about them systematically so that you can be consistent in how you answer them. So my personal goal, like for my students, basically is developing students capable of tackling any problem by breaking it down into manageable pieces. Don't feel overwhelmed by a problem you don't immediately understand, is what I'm saying. Like, fear is the enemy, especially in any test-taking environment. You need calm, and to have calm, you need a system. You need something that like works for you no matter what you apply it to. And that's what I'm trying to help you guys develop as my students. So as I just said, a repeatable system, and also give the students multiple techniques for solving the problems and checking their answers, making sure that you've picked a right answer. Because I was an engineer and am still an engineer, want to give all my students strong critical thinking skills. And lastly, I want to help my students find self-confidence, because my experience, especially being a younger student, is I didn't have a lot of self-confidence in myself and what I could achieve. And it wasn't until like late in my academic career that I started to believe in and apply myself and realize the sorts of things that I was capable of achieving when I applied myself. So I want my students to believe in themselves and to have confidence in themselves, and to also find what I call their own voice for expressing themselves in. So how do I do this? What I call it essentially guided critical thinking. It's not the Socratic method in that I'm not trying to lead you to what I want you to say through asking you a series of questions, but like I will ask questions about the problem and see what you think. And not just like, what do you think the answer is, but like, pick an answer and then I'll ask you, why do you think that's the answer? I want to understand how you think about things, because especially if you're thinking about a problem wrong, I want to identify that and point that out and help you overcome that and help you think about it correctly. And so it's more like a conversation to solve a problem than me directly leading you to an answer by questions. But that said, it is sort of a step-by-step system of just like going piece by piece of the problem, looking at every answer possibility and talking about what does this answer mean in the context of the problem. And through this, developing an answer that, by going through multiple steps, at the end of it, you should have confidence in the answer that you've arrived at. It should make sense to you because of you spent the time thinking about it. The next thing that I want to do is obviously identify every student's gifts and strengths and incorporate these into the lessons. Like, everyone learns differently. Everyone is good at things and bad at things. And so to learn most effectively, we need to use the things that we are good at. And so it's my job as your mentor, tutor, or whatever, to identify in you what those things are and help you learn how to use them for yourself, to harness your own abilities for your education. Again, I want to help you guys identify multiple ways to think about a problem, to find the one that makes the most sense to you. And obviously, it's also part of this, using examples that are relevant to the student's life, like putting problems in a frame of reference that they understand, helps immensely with problem understanding and solving. So that's all I have, really. The last thing I might have is, you might be wondering, can I take lessons from you? And absolutely, if you want to. If you'll donate to me, I haven't come up with like a tiering system yet for this, but basically what I have planned is I'm taking requests. If there's a topic that you want to know something about and you shoot me $5 or $10, I will make a video presentation like this and a small lesson about that topic. I am also totally open to just doing online private tutoring if that's something you're interested in. I'm open to reviewing manuscripts of all kinds. Just get in contact with me and tell me what you want to do. But like, this is for you guys, so I want to know what you guys out there want to know. This is the shameless plugging page. Connect with me. Like the video, subscribe it to help me be able to make more of these in the future and reach more people. That's my ultimate goal, is to be able to share these videos with as many people that want to learn as possible about anything they want to learn about. Leave me a comment, ask me a question, make a request. You can also follow me on Twitter at @SigmaIsGreater. You'll see whenever I have new content coming up. Until next time, see you guys.